Beautiful Avah. Part 3. Rule. To a New Destiny. One cold and windy night, there was a heavy storm. The wind blew fast and hard, and pulled down anything that stood in its way. Nothing could withstand its fury. Oh my! Avah and her mother cried in horror as they crouched in their poor dark hut. Not long afterwards, the forceful wind blew away the roof of their rickety old hut, and then in a matter of seconds, the entire wobbly hut was gone. Helplessly, they stood in the dark and cried, soaked, shivering, and afraid. A few minutes later, the lightning and thunder came to the party. Roo! Kaboom! Crack-a-boom! Greatly terrified, Avah and her mum ran to their neighbors and knocked on several doors, but no one opened the door. With nowhere else to go, they took refuge under a tree and waited for the rain to stop. After a few hours of heavy downpour, the heavy rain caused a flash flood. The surface runoff rose rapidly and the ground became a fast-moving stream. Avah and her mother clung firmly to the tree and watched helplessly as the water gradually rose to their waist. Suddenly, there was a loud sound, crank. It was the lightning. It had struck the tree and snapped off a branch. When they stared up in horror, Avah and her mother could see the tree branch coming down right at them. Within a blink of an eye, the tree branch came crashing down and knocked them into the flash flood which swept them into a river swollen with rushing water. Avah and her mother held on to a floating tree trunk and desperately called for help. As the tree trunk swung from side to side in the current, they clung on for dear life. Suddenly, the current in the river became stronger and the tree trunk was overridden by water. Avah was almost drowning because it was difficult swimming against such a forceful and hard-raging current. However, with every ounce of her strength, her mother grabbed onto Avah. "Hold on, my daughter," she shouted, sobbing at the same time. "Don't ever leave my hand." Avah's mother was strong. She held on to Avah and never let go. They moved with the raging current until her mother was able to grab onto a low-lying branch of a huge tree by the river. After much effort, both Avah and her mother climbed onto the tree and safely got themselves out of the water. The next morning, Avah and her mother started on their way down the other side of the river. They were very tired and still trembled at the thought of their frightful experience some hours ago. Not long afterwards, as they walked down the path, they saw an old woman with a heavy basket on her head. Avah felt sympathy for the old woman and decided to help her, even though she was very tired and hungry. After greeting the old woman, Avah helped her carry her heavy basket, while her mother helped carry the old woman's handbag. It was a very long trek before they got to the old woman's house. Her house was beautiful and strong. At her house, the old woman offered them some food. Avah and her mother were very grateful and hungrily ate the food as they chatted with the old woman. During the chat, the old woman told them who she was. She was a renowned village songstress and musician during her prime, and she still had great and enviable skills. Avah and her mother marveled in awe at the revelation. They couldn't believe that they would ever grace her presence. They told her their sad story and she felt great empathy for them. Seeing that they were kind and good people, she offered them a room to stay for a while. That night, just before they fell asleep on their sleeping mat, Avah said to her mum, "Mum, I want to ask the old woman to teach me how to sing and dance, so that I can take part in the village music festival and win some money. With the money, we can build a new house and have a better life. I think it's a good idea." Her mother's heart sank. "I wish you wouldn't do that," she said, shaking her head. She feared that the old woman might refuse their plea, just like the village songstress. "Avah, the world isn't a very nice place like you would like to believe, and life isn't fair to the poor. My daughter, we should be grateful for the shelter the old woman gave us, and we shouldn't ask for anything more." Then she looked deep into Avah's eyes and went on, "Wretched paupers like us are not worthy to grace her presence, let alone demand for her service. Please forget about the music festival. You are not destined for such honor and achievement. It's a feat only for the rich." Avah was saddened by her mother's response, but she was a dreamer. Though poor and lowly, she was hopeful and believed that a better future was possible. "Anything is possible. I understand, Mum. But shouldn't I dream and hope for better outcomes in life?" she asked politely. "Sure, you can dream," her mother stammered, quite surprised at her daughter's optimism. She wasn't a person of great courage like Avah. After a brief silence, her mother took a deep breath and said, "My dear daughter, always remember this saying, if horses were wishes, beggars will ride. Avah, dreams are wishes. People like us don't dream and wish, we simply accept whatever comes our way. Someday, I know my dream will come true, Avah whispered to herself. She didn't want to upset her mum, and so didn't say another word. Then she turned and closed her eyes to sleep. From then onwards, Avah practiced every day. She sang and danced the much that she could as she did her house chores in the old woman's house. Avah's voice was so lovely that little birds chirped along with her, but her dance was wobbly and needed much more practice. Secretly, the old woman took notice. She saw Avah's passion and determination and became charmed by her good personality. Some days later, to the amazement of the poor mother and daughter, the old woman made a free offer to help Avah perfect her singing and dancing skills and to get her ready, just in time for the village music festival. For the next few weeks, she taught Avah all she knew about singing and dancing. She wanted her to win. Avah was dedicated and focused and quickly perfected the art. The old woman taught her very well. End of part 3.